It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog.
Are you ready to get down to business? Join seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer. Here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And business, we talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from the show on my website at syklein.com. And while you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you'll not want to miss. So let's jump right in. Super excited for today's conversation. Thrilled to be joined by entrepreneur Laura Franco, who lives by profound principle and purpose. I was reading some quotes in advance of the show, and Laura said to wake the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. And I'm excited to have this entire conversation about Laura's background as well as her new venture, Brave Kids, short stories to inspire our future world changes. I could think of nothing more important to talk about. Laura Franco, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this conversation as well.
Absolutely. I know you've created a publishing world with more than 1,000 fellow healer authors, but prior to that, you've been a lifelong athlete, I hear. You've completed marathons, you're a black belt, all sorts of amazing things. So let's get to know the person behind the microphone. Laura, what led you into this crazy world of publishing and these amazing networks that you've built?
Well, I've been writing since I was a teenager. I just never realized it was going to turn into being a publisher later in life. But I love healing. I loved everything about what helps the body peak perform. So that desire and purpose started that early in high school. Played collegiate soccer for a couple of years, just loved learning about how to use my body in the best peak performing ways. And I knew I wanted to help other people do that too, and or help them feel better if they had an injury or whatever. So I got into physical therapy. That was the beginning of the story.
That's incredible. That's amazing. And what an interesting journey you've been on. And now not only are you doing things yourself, but as I always am fond of saying, you're working at the strategic level where really you're empowering others and having a impact far greater than you can ever measure. So my understanding is that a lot of this journey started, I believe it was March 20th, 2020. If I recall correctly on the calendar, that was shortly after the country essentially locked down and you started building some collaboration. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I actually woke up. I was dreaming this dream of doing this book collaboration. It's not like I hadn't had the idea before. I had been in probably 4 of these before that and published my own books. But the world had just lost its hands on healers. And I wrote a little note in a class I was teaching on Facebook. I said, you guys, let's do this. Let's write the ultimate guide to self-healing and teach everyone how to do these things at home right now. And then 48 hours after I wrote that note, 24 people said, yeah, I'll write a chapter, help you do that. And 5 weeks after that, we had a #1 Amazon bestseller. So I've literally been running around following the divine orders from the universe ever since.
That's amazing. So now you are the CEO of the Maryland-based and global reaching book publishing company, Brave Healer Productions. Let's talk about that name, Brave Healer Productions. What is it that you do, and what does that Brave Healer represent?
I get that question about why did you put brave in front of healer? And I think it's because we chose this journey, and that means that healers are the people who are trailblazing, doing their own work before they try to teach someone else how to do it. And it takes a warrior, in my opinion. It takes somebody showing up in the awareness practice every day, watching their mind, watching their thoughts. Everything matters, right? And these people do that every single day. So the productions part is because we publish and we do a lot of other things. We have events, we have support, because probably book launch is just the beginning. And authors need a ton of support after they get brave and put that book into the world. And it's kind of like, well, now what do we do? So Brave Healer Productions provides that support.
That's incredible work, and congratulations on all of the success that you've had up until this day. But of course, like a true entrepreneur, you're not satisfied with what you've accomplished already, the networks that you've built. Again, having, as we mentioned earlier in the intro, a publishing world with more than 1,000 fellow healer authors. You're on to your next project, which I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about. Brave Kids, short stories to inspire our future world changers. I believe your second collaborative book is going to be published in 2024. So let's talk about Brave Kids and why you decided to keep this entrepreneurial journey and continue to make such an impact.
Yeah, the serial entrepreneur, right? Brave Kids Books, that's the arm of Brave Healer Productions for our children's book publishing. And the book title that you mentioned, man, this collaboration, this turns me on so much, helping people get to their young people, their kids. This is for parents and teachers and mentors who want to read stories written by holistic experts on topics that are really important: awareness and intuition and being brave. And that whole book is full of authors who have that same mission. So it is a powerful collaboration. I cannot wait to do the next one.
That's huge. So let's take a look behind the scenes. I don't want to give away all the secrets, but some of these short stories. Who are some of the folks that have been profiled, and some of the stories that have been told? And if you can, tell us a little bit about the impact that you're hearing from those that have been privileged to read your important work.
Well, I'll have to shout out Kelly Kashula because she is the lead author and she's also a brilliant illustrator and storyteller. She's our director of Brave Kids Books, and she is writing a story about fear in this book, and really about, laying in your bed at night and being afraid of the dark and how not to be afraid of the dark. But we've got stories from our expert healers about grief, about loss, about being bullied. And, kids are facing so many things, and not to mention the things of the last few years and the changes they've had to go through. Change is another really important subject, how to navigate the feelings as you go through life. So I would try to shout out all 24 people right now, but I know we don't have time.
That's incredible. And my understanding is that right now you are on a quest to grow your substantial network and publishing world from what I think is a quite impressive number. But again, the serial entrepreneur, you are looking to, as I understand it, attract more folks, authors, to participate in, again, this the second collaborative book. Again, it's called Brave Kids, Short Stories to Inspire Our Future World Changers. What's your call to action, Laura?
Yeah, the volume 2 book is going to be our next expert collaboration. And if you want to be part of a community building book, a business building book, where we're not just sharing these amazing, powerful, purposeful stories out with the world, but we're also supporting you as an author and helping you network in your communities so that you can get your messages out into the world. Your legacy is our legacy. It's a big energy and big purpose. So please, connect with us and we'll chat about the opportunity.
Oh, it's a perfect segue. Let's, as we come to a conclusion in our conversation, I want to make sure folks know how they can connect with you, where they can find your prior works in publishing, and how they can get involved in your amazing Brave Healer networks. How can they get in touch?
Thank you. Come on over to bravehealer.com or bravekidsbooks.com, and you'll find our contact form and reach out. We can't wait.
That's great. And, I'm fond of asking this question as we have this conversation now, as we're actually getting closer towards the end of the year than we are in the beginning of the year. What's some of the goals that you have that's sort of motivating you to wrap up 2023 with a bang?
Oh, wow. Getting people together again for some hugs, getting people together again for a retreat, to bond in person, to go through some of the work together and write, heal, and publish together. That's going to start our 2024. Every single project is going to have a little bit of a theme like that.
Well, that's huge. So one more time, I want to make sure everybody knows really clearly how they can get in touch, get in contact, and get involved. Can you share your website one more time?
Yeah, please, bravehealer.com or bravekidsbooks.com.
Fantastic. And I know, Laura DeFranco, you are all over on social media as well, posting inspirational thoughts, comments. And so I encourage our listeners to get in touch. We'll post in the show notes as well to make it super duper easy. Laura DeFranco, thank you so much for joining us and inspiring us here in Get Down to Business.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we're going to squeeze in a very quick break. But coming up, we've got a lot more small business jobs and entrepreneurship. You could always get a sneak peek of who's going to be on next week on the show, all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship, on my website, syklein.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. And be sure to get on your favorite podcast app. Just search for Get Down to Business. But please make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share. That way you won't miss a single episode. Quick break. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.